Call to order City of Forest Park Council Meeting number 1256, August 3rd, 2015. Let us stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please.
Here.
Otto. Here. Herbie. Holt. Here. Johnson.
Here.
Lives.
Here.
Southall.
Here.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
I move to excuse Councilwoman Holt. Herbie.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we would excuse Councilwoman Herbie. Any discussions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to excuse, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilwoman Herbie is excused. Next item on the agenda, item number 2 is the minutes. You received those minutes in your packets, or are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Item number 3 is presentations. The first of these presentations is oath of office for Police Officer Chad Finkus. Come to the podium, Chief. Chad.
Thank you, sir.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Chad Finkus,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
the Charter
the Charter
of the Municipality,
of the Municipality
Forest Park,
of
Ohio.
Forest Park, Ohio,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of Forest Park Police Officer.
of Forest Park Police Officer.
Congratulations again, young man.
Thank you, Mayor.
He's shy.
Well, good evening. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce you to our 36th police officer for the city of Forest Park, Officer Chad Finkus. Chad comes to us with over 9 years of experience already. He has 3 of that as part-time with Laughlin, 1 with Arlington Heights Police Department, but he also has 5 years full-time with Laughlin, and that's who we basically stole him from, was Laughlin. Chad also comes to us with some experience. He spent 2 years, while at Laughlin, he spent 2 years in the Drug Abuse Reduction Task Force. So he spent 2 years doing narcotics investigation, drug work, mid-level drug investigations with DART. So he has that experience with him also. So he comes to us with that experience, and most importantly, he comes to us able to pretty much go on the streets. So he will go through his FTO program, which is, I believe, 16 weeks or 17 weeks, or some cases 30 weeks. I don't know. It depends on the person. But he will go through that process of our field training program, familiarize, obviously, with Forest Park and the way we do things here. Not so much different maybe than Laughlin, but then also very different from what we do at Laughlin maybe. So that's the big part. Once he gets done in that period of time, he's able to go on the streets. We also have our 37th police officer sworn in, Colin Bogart, who you may also know from the fire department. He finally came to the good side, and he unfortunately, however, was not certified, so he starts the academy, I believe, on August the 17th for 18 weeks of quality training there. So he will be our 37th when he comes back to us in December. Looking, not that much hair will be there, and he'll probably be 10, 15 pounds slimmer, so you might not recognize him. But we are moving in the right direction, hopefully, again, getting our staff in line with our needs, and certainly Chad coming on with us at this point is helping us get there. So welcome very much, and on behalf of the police department, congratulations, and we do welcome you to our family. With that, I'd like to invite Ashley, his wife, who will do the honor of pinning the badge. And I'll turn it over to Chad.
Thanks, Chief. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Mayor Johnson, City Council, Chief Cannon for this opportunity. Secondly, I'd like to thank my wife, Ashley, my family, and my friends, because without the love and support, I wouldn't be here. This was a dream for me, and I'm excited, I'm ready to serve, and look forward to serving the community, the city of Forest Park, for years. Thank you.
Any comments from members of council? Mr. Lives?
Oh, thank you. Well, congratulations and welcome to the finest police department, at least in the state anyway, in the country. I found that out. My granddaughter wants to be a police person, and we went to Fairfield, to the police department there. She had to sign some paperwork, and the officer didn't know who I was, and after he got done explaining why she should work for Fairfield, I asked him, he mentioned a couple other departments. No, you don't want to go there, you don't want to go. I said, how about Forest Park? And he said, they're great over there. He said, they help us along, and they're really outstanding officers. I went, thank you. So our reputation has grown. I'm sure it's way beyond Fairfield for the whole state. And congratulations, and keep safe, and welcome.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. I didn't know Chad personally, but I knew of Chad when I was back in the day before I retired, when I was working. Lachlan was one of the school districts that I served, and I ran into Chad a couple of times when he was providing services to the school district, and I know that he's going to do an outstanding job for us, and we're delighted to have you, Chad. Thank you, and
Thank you, Mayor.
welcome to Forest Park.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Our next item on the presentation is the Mill Creek Watershed. Anybody, Paul, are you here for Chris for that? Is anybody from Mill Creek? I know you're going to do a presentation for us, but I didn't know if Paul, come on up, please. I didn't know if Chris was going to be here or not. He's been on vacation.
Thank you for having me.
Sure.
I'm Jennifer Eismeyer. I'm the Executive Director of the Mill Creek Watershed Council of Communities. If you don't know the Mill Creek, you're in it right now. There are 34 communities in the Mill Creek and 2 counties, and Forest Park in its entirety sits right in the heart of the Mill Creek Watershed. So I want to say thank you to Mayor Johnson and to the city. The Watershed Council is 20 years old. I'm not 20 years old, not far over 20, but I personally am not 20. But it was 20 years ago that 17 of those 34 communities got together on the banks of the Mill Creek to pledge building consensus among the jurisdictions that make decisions about our water resources. And Forest Park has been a steadfast member of the council since then. We've had a long partnership with Dave Bisking, who was Watershed Council Chair for a number of years, and has been an outstanding partner, and he's a fantastic steward of water resources in Forest Park. I'd like to say thank you so much for coming out to re-pledge Forest Park's commitment as part of our ceremonial re-signing of the intergovernmental agreement that formed our organization. So we look forward to another 20 years of Mill Creek improvement. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm pleased to present this to you. This is the re-signed agreement, so thank you very much.
Thank you. We did go out to the ceremony for re-signing, and just one of the things that we saw that they showed us, the gentleman had containers of water, The first container showed the condition of the water when we first started this 20 years ago. It was probably water that you would not want to not only have your pet drink, you would not want to wash your pet in. But all of the work that they've done over that 20 years, the second container, the water was almost as clear as what we would get out of our fountains. So they are doing an outstanding job. Forest Park was happy to re-sign, and we look forward to them continuing the work that they've done. You know, there are some organizations out there that you don't see a lot in the press about, or get to hear a lot about. This one is vital. It's just imagine what it would be like to be able to take your kids down to the Mill Creek and have them to play in the water and splash around, or you, if you're not too old, to splash around in the water. That's the direction that they're going. And we want to be a part of that, and we want to continue to support them. And again, we want to thank you for all the work you're doing as well.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Okay. We would then move forward to item number 4, which is communication from the public. But before we do that, this is the time when most of our audience would leave us. But it would be, I would be remiss if, Chief mentioned it earlier. But Colin, if you would you stand, please, officer? Unfortunately, or fortunately, well, it's kind of a little bit of both. He had to be sworn in earlier and did not have the ability, did not have the time to be sworn in at a council meeting because time was of the essence. We had to get it done. We had to get paperwork up to Columbus, I believe. But Chief mentioned that he, too, is going to be a welcome addition to our police department. I've known him for quite a while from across the other side over at the fire department. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to meet him, to see him, and to know that we're very proud of you, and we're very proud of the service that you've already rendered to the city as a firefighter, and we look forward to the service that you're going to render to the city as a police officer. So again, congratulations to you, and thank you very much for your service. Okay. And as I said, at this time, if you're welcome to stay, but if you want to leave, feel free. Chad.
Congratulations, we're glad you're here. Thank you. Hi, nice to meet you. Welcome. Welcome aboard.
Okay, we will now move on to item number 4, communications from the public. This is a time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Paul, unless you're here for the public, I don't see any other public, so we will move on then to item number 5, reports of standing committees. The first of those reports would be public safety. Mr. Lives.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, just a couple items, primarily from the departmental reports that I'd like to highlight. From the fire department, there was a report on clothes dryer fire prevention. And I've noticed this, they list a number of things to do to prevent a fire in your clothes dryer. And we didn't have a fire at home, but we had a man come in, it's a service that cleans it out, and I didn't realize the amount of stuff that was jammed in that thing and could cause problems. So it's good to have it checked or inspected periodically. The best part of this whole report was at the very end, they said that if none of these things work for your clothes dryer, you can always use a clothesline, and there's never been a clothesline fire reported. So if If you have a line, we have one in our yards, you can do that. For the police department, they are having a clergy police academy, and right now it's scheduled for mid-September. Also for folks that ask about it, the speed board that you see around the city periodically is currently under repair, but it's a popular item, and a lot of people have asked us to place them on their streets or right-of-ways, and they will reveal the speed of the car coming towards it. And other than that, I had nothing new to report. Thank you.
Any questions for Councilman Lives? Hearing none, Councilman Lives, I don't have any, do you have anything, any items for the agenda? If you all would remember, this is the last meeting that we'll actually have before we start break, and we will be returning with the work session on the 14th. So I would doubt that you all would have any items this soon for the 14th, but I will, as usual, ask the question. So Councilman Live, do you have any
No,
items?
sir. Thank you, though.
Okay, thank you. Next report is Ways and Means Committee, Councilwoman Herbie, who is absent. Anyone from that committee have a report for her? Seeing none, Community Development, Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report, but I would like to express my appreciation for the committee that worked on Jazz in the Park and all of the support teams that helped make that event a success. Our police officers were recognized by staff, and I agree they did a great job of just being there and making sure things were running very smoothly. The crowd was wonderful, the music was great, and it was just a great atmosphere. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Burns? Hearing none, Mr. Burns, do you have any items thus far for the meeting on the 14th?
No, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next report is Law Committee, Councilwoman Cottle.
I have no report for this evening, thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Cottle? Hearing none, Councilwoman Cottle, do you have any item for the work session on the 14th?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Next report is Human Resources Committee, Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have a report tonight, thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Hearing none, Councilwoman Holt, do you have any items for the agenda for the
No.
14th?
No, I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Next report is Public Improvements and Facilities, Mr. Southall.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Under Public Improvement and Facilities, I'd like to report that the Northland Street Gate project is currently underway with new curbs being installed on the entire length of the project, and stamped concrete accents are also being installed in the medium and at the intersections. The electrical and the traffic signals work is close to being finished, and the traffic is restricted to the inside lane and work in a driveway and an apron replacement. However, in general, there hasn't been a great deal of delay, and in general, the feedback from the business community in the Northland area has been very good, with almost no complaints, probably because of the progress of the work and what's being seen. Under the project, city projects, the final grading and landscaping is being completed on the new Taco Bell and KFC Chase Plaza Drive, and Cincinnati Testing Labs, the new building addition in the Caroline Boulevard is progressing while the new building is under roof. That completes my report, Mr. Mayor, under Public Improvement and Facilities. Is there any questions out there?
Any questions for Mr. Southall? Hearing none, Mr. Southall, I have no items on the agenda. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not at this time, sir.
Next item on the agenda is Intergovernmental Relations and Communications. It's my committee. I have nothing to report. If there are any questions, I would attempt to answer them. Hearing none, we'll move to item number 6, the mayor's report. Just a couple of brief items. First of all, I would like to echo what Mr. Burns has said regarding the Jazz in the Park event. Frankly, I had forgotten that it doesn't seem like it's been that long, that this past one was the 14th. It didn't seem like we had that many, but this was the 14th. And it was very, very good. Nice crowd. The weather was almost perfect. And the concert in itself, the music was great. And I too would like to add my thanks to all those involved who helped to make that event successful. Secondly, we received a notification from Duke Energy that I want to pass on to the public. I think this is important for people to know what is going to be happening with this event and this issue, so that you can be aware that it's going to happen, and if your home or business happens to be one of the ones that, where they will be performing inspections, you would know. Between August 15th and September 30, as required by the United States Department of Transportation, Duke Energy will be performing inspections on gas metering equipment and piping that's located inside buildings. The work that is going to be performed will include the inspection of exposed gas piping and metering equipment for leakage and corrosion. On an average, the inspection will take approximately 10 minutes. Of importance to our community also would be the fact that Duke Energy has contracted this work out to a company called Southern Cross. Now, they want us to be aware that the technicians who will be doing this work can be readily identified. First of all, they will be wearing picture IDs with, that says Southern Cross outside their uniform. And these picture IDs will have on it a phone number that the customer can call, which is a Duke Energy number, to verify that the person who is knocking at your door or your business is in fact a legitimate technician for Southern Cross. Also, these technicians will be driving either a vehicle with a Southern Cross vehicle that has the Southern Cross symbol and name on it, or some will be driving their own individual cars, but if they're driving their own individual vehicles, there will be a Southern Cross plated logo on the doors, and they're asking that the public pay special attention to the badges and the cars, so that if some bogus person is trying to enter your property or your business, you'll know that right away. And they're saying, be sure to feel free to call the number on the badge if you have any questions at all. Most of the places that they're going to be doing inspections will be businesses. There will be some residences where they will be doing inspections as well, and all of these inspections will be inside the property. So if you have a meter on the outside of your property, you won't be inspected unless you have piping on the inside of your property that would need to be, that's exposed piping that would need to be inspected. So again, the technicians will be from a company called Southern Cross, and they must have an ID, a picture ID also with the phone number on it, and the vehicle that they're in should either be an actual Southern Cross vehicle or a personal vehicle with the placard on the side. The final thing that I would like to report, just for the benefit of the public, is that at the close of the meeting tonight, council will be on recess, and we will reconvene on Monday, September 14th, for a work session. However, if there is business to be done in the interim, we would have a called meeting, and during that time, of course, the city building and staff will still be available to answer any questions that you might have and to pass information on to council if need be. That would end my report. I would answer any questions if there are any. Mr. Burns.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Would it be possible to have the communication from Duke or anything that Duke may have outside of that posted on the Forest Park's website so that any resident that may not have heard your announcement has access to that.
There is an address here that I'll make sure that Ray has this and see if it can be posted on the website, Ray,
Thank you.
or on the message board, whichever or both. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move to item number 7, the city manager's report. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll only report that departmental reports have all been completed, included in the council packet, and also placed on file with the clerk of council for public inspection. That would conclude my report, but I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for the city manager? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Hodges. Next item on the report, on the agenda is item number 8, other reports. The first of those being for the law director, Mr. Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing to report tonight, but if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for law director? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Wyckoff. Next report on the number 7 is clerk of council, Mrs. Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance number 10-2015 and resolution number 30-2015 were posted as required, and that concludes my report.
Any questions for clerk of council? Hearing none, thank you. We will now move to item number 9, unfinished business and general orders. There's a motion for Mr. Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the second time by title only ordinances number 11-2015 through 15-2015. These ordinances were read for the first time by title only on July 20th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring reading in full on 2 separate days and read in full for the second time by title only ordinances number 11-2015 through 15-2015. Is there a discussion on the motion? Hearing no discussion, would the clerk call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Lives.
Yes.
Southall.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rule passed 6-0. First item on the agenda, item number 8, ordinance number 11-2015. Would the clerk please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 11-2015, enacting a revision to Chapter 152, Building Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, to add supplemental language to Section 152.23, violations and penalties to establish criminal penalties for failure to respond to violation notices and stop work orders, which penalties are in addition to those administrative and civil remedies available in the code.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for the adoption of ordinance 11-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 11-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first of 2 ordinances. As described, this particular code amendment is to basically put more teeth in our requirements to comply with building codes and stop work orders, particularly as it relates to work without getting the required permits and inspections. If this is approved, the code amendments will take the violation beyond the current civil penalty and elevate such failures to comply to criminal penalties. And with that, I would urge the adoption of ordinance 11-2015.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 11-2015?
Cottle,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Ordinance 11-2015 passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is item B, ordinance number 12-2015. Would the clerk please read this ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 12-2015, enacting a revision to Chapter 154, miscellaneous land use regulations of the codified ordinances of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, to add supplemental language to Section 154.58, violations and penalties, to establish criminal penalties for failure to respond to violation notices and stop work orders, which penalties are in addition to those administrative and civil remedies available in the code, and to address vehicle hazards at driveways.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for the adoption of ordinance 12-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 12-2015. Is there a discussion? Mr. Burns?
Yes, thank you. This is the second ordinance, as we spoke of, and this is designed to also increase the penalties for failure to comply with certain building permit requirements and stop work orders. It should be noted that our law director has advised us that these sections 152.23 and 154.58 are to be amended. So those who violate the city building codes or building officials' orders can be cited to Mayor's Court. And, it should be also noted that currently some of these violators are ignoring those administrative actions. So it's important that we escalate or increase the penalties involved with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on ordinance 12-2015?
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes?
Lives,
Yes.
Cathal,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle.
Yes.
Ordinance number 12-2015 passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda, item C, ordinance number 13-2015. Would the clerk please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 13-2015, an ordinance approving a substantial revision to the development plan of Caroline Business Park located in the Special Planning Area 3 District.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Mr. Mayor, I would move for the adoption of ordinance number 13-2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 13-2015. Is there a discussion? Mr. Burns?
Thank you. It should be noted that a public hearing and the first reading by title only was completed for this proposed ordinance on July 20th. It was scheduled on this council meeting for the second reading by title only and a formal vote. The concept for the layout, well, basically the concept for the layout of Caroline Park was originally designed over a decade ago for Union Central and other businesses on its campus. They no longer fit how the company now plans to complete the build-out of the campus. Because of the location of what is now the new Emeritus building and the plans for future expansion of other buildings, such as Cincinnati Testing Lab, the suggestion is to change their setback requirements from 100 feet to 50 feet. There's currently no problems with this, and this is an ordinance to support this particular change. And with that, I would urge adoption of ordinance 13-2015.
Is there further discussion on ordinance 13-2015? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the ordinance?
Johnson,
Yes?
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Ordinance 13-2015 passes 6-0. Next item, D, ordinance number 14-2015. Would the clerk please read this ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 14-2015, amending Chapter 95 Fire Prevention Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Forest Park, Ohio.
Is there a motion, Mr. Lives?
Thank you. I move passage of ordinance number 14-2015.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 14-2015. Is there a discussion? Mr. Lives?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an ordinance that would require an inspection and a $30 fee for Type B daycare facilities. As you recall, we already, a few months ago, prohibited any additional Type A facility. Type B facilities are required to be permitted by the state, and they're smaller facilities than the A. They have 1 to 6 children at one time in their facility. Since this is a change, They wanted to be ensure that we will move and delete the International Fire Code requirement and change it to Ohio Fire Code. There are 29 of these Type B facilities currently in Forest Park. And we now want to adapt the Ohio Fire Code that require an annual inspection of the Type B facilities. And I would ask for passage.
Any further discussion on the ordinance? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on ordinance 14-2015?
Lives,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Ordinance 14-2015 passes 6-0. Next item on the agenda is item E, ordinance number 15-2015. Would the clerk please read this ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 15-2015, an ordinance amending Chapter 156, Comprehensive Fee Schedule of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Forest Park.
Is there a motion, Mr. Lives?
Yes, sir. I moved to pass ordinance number 15, 2015.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance 15-2015. Is there a discussion, Mr. Lives?
Yes, this is pretty much of a housekeeping item whereby staff has reviewed our building permit fees and recommended that we update our schedule for 2016. This will keep us in line with the fees charged by other services in our immediate area and will offset our cost increase. Thank you. I would ask for passage.
Any further discussion on ordinance 15-2015? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 15-2015?
Southall,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives.
Yes.
Ordinance 15-2015 passes 6-0. Item 10, new business. Item A under new business is a resolution. Would the clerk please read this resolution in full?
Resolution number 31-2015, a resolution consenting to the execution of an incentive agreement between Process Plus and the City of Forest Park, Ohio. Whereas the City of Forest Park has identified the retention of businesses and redevelopment of existing buildings as priorities for its economic development program, and whereas Process Plus has been an invaluable member of our business community for many years, and whereas Process Plus will make a significant investment to expand its headquarters located here in the city of Forest Park, and whereas this project involves the retention of 96 full-time positions and possible creation of another 25 full-time positions, and whereas an incentive is required to help this company maintain and expand its Forest Park operation, and whereas Process Plus will create new payroll and ultimately revenue for the city that will offset the cost of this incentive in a manner consistent with our policy for the redevelopment program. And whereas the Economic Development Commission has reviewed this project and passed a resolution in support of the proposed redevelopment incentive, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, Section 1, that the Council of the City of Forest Park hereby gives its consent for the city manager to enter into an incentive agreement with Process Plus to facilitate an expansion of its Forest Park operation, a project consistent with the goals of our comprehensive redevelopment plan. Specifically, the City of Forest Park will provide the following. A redevelopment grant of $150,000 payable in 3 installments of $50,000 in 2016, 2017, and 2018. B, an earnings tax rebate of 75% of the withholdings of any new payroll associated with jobs created as a result of the project. This rebate is based on an annual withholdings reported by the City of Forest Park for a 10-year period beginning in 2015 or until a total of $250,000 has been rebated. C, total value of this incentive package will not exceed $400,000. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and take effect from and after the earliest date allowed by law.
Is there a motion, Mr. Lives?
Mr. Mayor, I move for passage of resolution number 31-2015.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution number 31-2015. Is there a discussion? Mr. Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to point out that last year, Process Plus launched a comprehensive examination of their Forest Park operation, and they determined that they needed a larger site. They've become very successful and needed a larger 30 to 40,000 square foot facility. Since Forest Park is in competition with other communities for this type of a expansion, we are therefore offering the incentive agreements to Process Plus. Should be pointed out that they've been an excellent member of the community in helping us in projects. So we are asking tonight for the passage of this resolution, which will provide them with additional incentives that you heard in the reading. There's a maximum amount of $400,000 broken up in several different ways, which include their hiring of additional people. So we are asking for passage of this resolution to keep an outstanding business in Forest Park. Thank you.
Any further discussions? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 31-2015?
Burns,
Yes.
Cottle,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Lives.
Yes.
Southall.
Yes.
Resolution 31-2015 passes 6-0. Is there any further business to come before the body? Any further business to come before the body? No further business. Hearing none. Meeting is adjourned.